Hey there, I'm Lucy Kyllonen, and I want to welcome you to the Chosen Voices podcast. It's the show where women make waves using their voices. Women like you and like me. We're moms, leaders, students, entrepreneurs, and even those of us that are wearing several different hats. So stick around and learn what it really means to use your voice to make waves in this world. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode number 6. I'm so excited to be here with you, ladies. I am Pastor Lucy Kyllonen, Director of Women's Ministry here at Crossover Church. I'm a life coach. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm an author, speaker, podcaster, and I do all this for you. We do it for you ladies. And so we're excited for today. We're doing something a little bit different. As you can see, I am joined by my friends and ministry partners. I have Dr. Carmen and Loriana, and I'm actually going to have them go ahead and start. And I know I said your names, but introduce yourselves. Give them a little glimpse as to who you are. Yeah. Who wants to go first?
All right, so I'll start since I'm on the end, and we'll kind of work our way in. My name is Loriana, and I am a mom and a wife, and I am a member here at Crossover Church and been with the women's ministry for a very long time with Chosen. And outside of that, my other roles include bookkeeping and just helping in business office, finance department areas, and so I just love what I do, and
yeah,
thankful to be here.
And listen, if you guys missed it, Loriana was episode number 1, our very first one. She was courageous enough to go ahead and do this with me. So if you missed it, you have to go back and watch it, episode number 1. Next.
I am Carmen Harris. I am a wife, a mother, a member of Chosen's leadership team as well. 7 years. Yes.
Whoa.
7 years,
all right.
7 years. Outside of church, I am an elementary school principal. And so I deal with kids and adults and mamas and
all day
long. And for fun, I like to watch Lifetime Movie Network.
No shame in that. No shame in that. And so, Dr. Carmen, you were episode number 3, I believe, right?
Yes.
Episode number 3. It was so good. Ladies, you have to go back. So if you missed it, again, go back to, you know what? Go back to episode number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and today is number 6, so that you have an idea of what this is about and why we do what we're doing today. So I'm excited. They said yes to being on this panel with me today and to be able to talk to you guys about gratitude. And before you tune me off, don't do that yet. Don't do that, right? We want to talk about the difference between thankfulness and gratefulness. Did you guys know that there's a difference? Did you guys know that? Do you guys know that? So listen, make sure that you're making comments. Let us know you're here with us, engage with us, give us some feedback. But if you knew that there's a difference, say, yep, I knew that. But there's a difference, and there's a difference in how we operate in thankfulness or gratefulness. And so that's kind of what I want to share with you today. We want to be able to talk about our experience with both as well. And so let me give you a couple of reasons why, first of all, that I want to talk about gratefulness. And I'm pretty sure that some of these issues that I'm going to talk about right now may resonate with you. So for instance, gratitude improves your mindset. So those are your happy hormones, right? Mm-hmm. Happy hormones that can help with depression and anxiety. And I know that there's a lot of us that deal with that. And so gratitude can actually help with a positive, healthy, happy mindset. Gratitude also helps with your health, right? With sleeping better. I know I get really cranky when I don't get my sleep, right? And so sleeping is so important. It helps with sleeping. It helps with higher self-esteem. It helps with your physical health. And this last one, there have been numerous studies on the positive impact gratitude has on people who have experienced trauma, right? And so listen, to me, like, this is powerful stuff that we're talking about here. So please don't take it lightly. Like, this is powerful. This is life-changing. And so we get to share with you our experience when it comes to gratitude, when it comes to thankfulness as well, and also learning the difference between the two and how to operate in that attitude of gratitude, because it doesn't always come naturally to everyone. On the flip side, right, of us being grateful and having a grateful heart, I'm sure that we've met people that are ungrateful, right? And so they're ugly. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like, they're just ugly people. When people are ungrateful, those are the people that usually, like, they will talk about or complain about the one thing that you didn't do for them, instead of, like, the many things that you did. Kind of like our kids, right?
Right. I was thinking it.
Keeping it real here, keeping it real. But we see their true colors, right? We see their true colors, people who are ungrateful. And the other thing that we realize, if you've come across someone who's ungrateful, I can promise you that they're not reaping the benefits of living a grateful life. Oftentimes, we know that person is probably dealing with resentment, right? Bitterness, unforgiveness. And so that's not how God called us to live. That's not the walk that he wants us, to walk. So we're going to talk about that today. So let's talk about the difference, first of all, the difference between thankfulness and gratefulness. So being thankful would be more of me acknowledging that someone did something for me, right? There was a benefit that I received. So for example, if I go to the grocery store and at the grocery store, someone's bagging my groceries, right? I will say, thank you. I'm being polite. And I'm saying thank you to that person. Or as I'm walking out, someone holds the door for me, right? And I will say thank you to that person. So when we're thankful, basically that is us acknowledging that we are in receipt of a benefit that was received. And out of polite behavior, we will say thank you to that person. Now, on the flip side to that, gratefulness is a deep appreciation for something that you have received from a person, a place, or a thing. It's something that you hold in high regard. So I'll give you an example. This true story just happened this week. I went for a walk. I think this was Wednesday. I was able to go for a walk. So big deal. Why am I grateful for being able to go for a walk? Well, that's because you don't know the backstory, right? The backstory to that is that the day before, I woke up in the middle of the night with vertigo. So if you've never had vertigo, that's when everything is spinning. And it was so strong that I literally was throwing up, right? So kind of gross, but hey, I said I'm going to keep it real here. So that was the extent of my vertigo. And it lasted pretty much all day Tuesday. It got a little bit better throughout the day as long as I limited my range of motion. I had to be mostly still and keeping my head still, right? So for me, literally, my life was turned upside down, right? And I wasn't able to function the way that I normally function. Wednesday morning, I wake up and there's no dizziness. And so my first response was, oh my goodness, thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Thank you, Father, that I'm able to get up and not feel sick to my stomach. That was a sense of gratitude because I have received a blessing. It was, and this is the difference, right? True gratitude is not just me saying thank you from my lips, it's actually from my heart. It is from my heart. And so hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of the difference between thankfulness and, gratefulness. And I want to share this quote with you, and then I'm going to have the panel share. So this quote is from Melody Beattie. She's an American author, and she says, gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It makes sense of our past. It brings peace for today, and it creates vision for tomorrow. I know, I love it. And so what can you guys add to that? Like, what are some of your thoughts? Give me some feedback. Talk to me.
As you were talking about gratitude, the difference between the two, I thought about a state of gratitude really is a mindset. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. Yes. And it is my reaction or my viewpoint towards things, which is why in your quote, she listed negative things, but it's the choice she made and how I see that. Right? You can, I think of things that I may have lost. I lost both parents. I could look at that, right? But I choose to say they left me with, high regard for self, a love for life, a love for the Lord. So gratitude really positions us with power and more control than we think we have. It gives us control in situations when you don't think you have control. So as well as thankfulness, and thankfulness is usually a response to something.
Right.
So it is a reaction, right? It's like you don't necessarily control that,
right?
Because it's responding to something. But gratefulness, you're in the driver's seat,
right?
And how you choose to respond. So that makes me feel empowered to know that regardless of what I deal with, I can choose to be grateful. That's my choice.
I like that. Before you go, another quick example, when it comes to being thankful, there have been times, I'm pretty sure, and you guys can agree or disagree, where we have said thank you and not even looked the person in the eye, right? So if I'm in a rush, right? If I'm late to pick up my girls from school, I'm late to my next appointment, again, polite behavior, the response should be thank you because they're doing something for me.
Right.
But I'm just doing it just because it's the right thing to say at that moment. There's there's no emotional attachment, to it. So I love what you said, that it's actually, this gratefulness is a position that we put ourselves to be able to receive, right? Even not so much from people, but from God, from the Lord. Yes. All right, Miss Loriana, you're next.
So I'm a nerd, and so I love what you're saying though, and I love how you pointed out like thankfulness is that it's external, right? So it's kind of that what we show externally, and then that gratitude is something that takes place intrinsically, right? So there's a transformation, an inward transformation that takes place as we allow ourselves to sit in gratitude and operate out of gratitude. So my word nerd comes out because, of course, as I'm looking up the definition, I'm looking at the Latin and the Greek, right? And I love how Latin, they're linked in the word. I had to write it down. So gratus, Latin is thankful, right? Gratitude goes back to gratus and thankful. And then you have gratia, which is also a root coming from the same Latin word, but it actually it means grace, right? And so we have gratus, gratia, meaning grace. And then you have, if you're Spanish, you're thinking, wait a minute, I know a word that sounds like that.
Gracias.
Gratis.
Gratis.
Right? Gratis, which is free, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so when we're operating out of this position of gratitude, right, we're allowing God's free grace, right? So there's this freedom that I have when I choose to operate out of gratitude. Whereas that quick thank you, right, I'm probably still rushing. I'm probably still in bondage of whatever time frame or, that has me running from here to there. So I love being able to look at that. So thank you for forcing me to look up the difference between thankfulness and gratitude.
Love it.
Because out of that, there's freedom. There's freedom when I choose to operate out of gratitude.
Love it.
Yes.
I love the fact that you're a nerd. And for bringing that, today. And I'm probably going to put you on the spot right now. You weren't expecting this, but if we go back about 2 years, I believe it was, when we were forced to do the noonday devotionals, right? And this was during the pandemic, and the staff, we all took turns every day doing noonday devotionals. And I will never forget this, but it was Loriana who spoke about the attitude of gratitude and creating that atmosphere. And ever since then, I've never forgotten. Like, I have always been reminded of that, because like you said, it's a position, it's a mindset, it is a choice to live in an atmosphere of gratitude. And so I'm glad that you have this insight into going into the root words of it, so that we can know like where it's coming from, and the fact that we can be free, like, love that, right? Like no bondage. Yeah. So again, like this is Thanksgiving month, right? This is the November, the month of Thanksgiving. It's the month that we focus on our friends, family members. We gather together, we have a meal together, and all that is great. Please note that we're not saying that you shouldn't be thankful. We're not saying that thankful is not important, because there's absolutely a place for being thankful. Oftentimes they're used synonymously, right? Thankfulness and gratefulness. But we are just letting you know that there is a difference, right, to it. And I'm hoping that this Thanksgiving, you will go into it a whole lot differently. You go into Thanksgiving thinking about the things that you're grateful for in a different way, and that you position yourself in a way where you can receive that freedom that God has for you just by having that posture and being grateful from the heart, not just our lips and saying it, but from the heart. So I want to ask you, ladies, as believers, why would you say that thankfulness and gratitude is important in our lives? What makes it so important as believers?
It's really the stance of what we do and how we choose to live. We didn't script this, but when you talked about freedom, Jesus came for us to have a free life, right? The freedom that comes, and the freedom actually comes in your mind, right, and in your spirit. And so if I free my mind as a person who is always thinking a certain way, because we are a product of our thoughts and our ideas and our belief and our experiences, so we never negate those. But the way that we see life and move every day, and how we make decisions and how we choose to hear God or not, is tied to our gratitude and how we see life, everything that we do. So our freedom in Christ is tied to that. It is important to be thankful, because I think that it's a time to reflect, because even it helps you to appreciate the minute things. Like I was thinking about what am I thankful for? Clothes, right? I got clothes, right? I'm thankful for clothes. Those are important, but I can do without, right? But I'm at a place to be thankful for those things. I am grateful for life. I am grateful for health. I am grateful for the ability, the activity, the use of my limbs. I can sit up, as you were saying. I can talk. I can walk. Those things I'm grateful for. So I think as a believer, as a Christian, as a faith follower, it's important to always keep that at the forefront, so we don't lose focus on why we do what we do beyond Thanksgiving, right? Beyond just the time to get together and eat. I'm thankful for food too. Who's
not, right? Who's not?
I'm thankful for food, but it helps us to keep perspective.
Yes.
It does.
So with that perspective, I want to go a little bit further with that. So how is it then that you can have some people that maybe stay in a place of, whether it's depression or anxiety or even that pessimism, right, in life? So what would you say to that person? What would they have to do to help them get out of that?
So I recognize that depression, certain anxieties are tied to certain mental health things. So we recognize that that sometimes it's good to get therapy, right, for those types of things. But I always have to deal from my locus of control. My locus of control is what I choose to meditate on. The scripture tells us that if we meditate, which means to think on, not just think on, to hone in on, right, to key in on, to focus on the things of above, like the whatsoever things are lovely, pure, of a good report. Those things, what I choose to meditate on is what I'm going to get. So if I choose to put in Lifetime all day, don't judge me, y'all. I don't do it all day, but if I choose to do that, those are the things that I'm going to get out. We did youth ministry for years, and one of the things we used to always tell kids, we would do like a salvation, which is so bad to say this, but we would do like 2 weeks of salvation, so they couldn't do any secular music. They couldn't watch anything except for the news. So they couldn't watch music videos. That's back when there were music videos. I don't even know do people do music videos, but when they would come on TV. So they had to do all things faith-based. They could read their scripture, go to school, and engage. It never failed. At the end of the 2 weeks, when they tried to go back to those things, it was like, whoa, that's a bit. It became offensive, right, to their spirit. Likewise, the same thing with a spirit of gratitude. When I choose to meditate on these things, it becomes hard to become a pessimist. It becomes hard to focus on those negative things, but I have to continuously do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I had cut you off. I'm sorry. So.
oh, sorry. Come on.
Oh, I wasn't saying anything but amen and praise Jesus. I'm in agreement. Yeah, so no, I love how you talked about that because when I was looking at one of the verses that I found is Hebrews 12:28. It says, therefore, since we receive a kingdom which cannot be shaken, let us show gratitude. And so we have to receive this. We have to receive it first. So how do I maintain that is, well, am I open to receiving it first?
Yeah.
Just like we said, making that choice. And so, just as a believer, like you said, it shifts our perspective, but I have to be intentional, right? And then stopping to think, are my thank yous empty? Am I being intentional with them? Because if I'm not, then I need to sit back and I need to reevaluate my heart and where am I grateful? Where is that gratitude?
Okay.
I had a thought too.
Yeah.
And I think it was Pastor Tommy that challenged us, was it a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, with journaling. And one of the things that he challenged us to do is write the things that we are grateful for. And I got into a habit of that because I remember when I first started, it would be like, for a house and for kids and shoes. But then it got deeper, right? Because you're like, okay, Lord, I'm tired of thanking you for my house and the shoes.
Right.
It's got to be more. So then I would challenge myself like I couldn't write the same thing twice in a week, right? So it helped to expand that. It was just me, expand that scope of gratefulness, right? Because as I'm expanding that thought, it became a chore then to think of things I was not grateful for because I was so busy thinking of what I was grateful for.
Yeah.
So that part.
Yep. So what I'm hearing you guys say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but basically what you put in is what comes out.
That's true.
Right?
Regardless of the circumstances.
Yep.
Yes. I
Right?
love that. Yep.
So regardless of the circumstances. So,
Yep. And so as a practical step for the ladies that are watching, right, is what are you putting in? What is it? Like, what is consuming your mind? Because if you're constantly worrying, right, about things, if you're constantly like just running around your agenda, your plans, or just focusing on your problems, right, then there's no space, there's no room for that gratefulness to kind of take over and consume, your mind and having like that attitude, like they were talking about, just having this attitude. So a lot of times, and I know that like Dr. Carmen, you said that we're not mental health counselors here, but we're aware that there's different degrees of depression and anxiety and other mental health issues. And if you're dealing with something, we advocate for therapy. Like we believe in counseling and therapy. And so please get help. But I also know that there are times, I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with a level of depression or anxiety. And so a lot of it always goes back to where is my mind focused? And what's helped me is you brought up just a practical tip, journaling. Right? Journaling every single day. And I do the same thing. I got to write down all the things that I'm grateful for that took place either the day before or that day, just depending on when I am journaling. But it changes your mindset. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. Why we're able to do what we're doing right now. Because all of us are wearing a lot of different hats right here. We couldn't do it without the power of the Holy Spirit in our lives. But it also takes us acknowledging who is our Father, who is in control, and that we will make sure that our minds are focused on things above and not the things here. And so then we practice writing down what we're grateful for. We practice having a mindset of, God, these are the good things. You are a good God despite what's happening in my life. So I love what Loriana just said. Despite my circumstances may not change, but my perspective will. The way that I respond to it will. And that's why this is so important. And for those of us that maybe deal, like I was talking about, a little bit of depression here, anxiety here, is where's your mind? What are you doing? What are you focusing on? And then what are you doing to get yourself out of there? Because you can. What did David do in the Bible? David danced and David encouraged himself. Why so downcast, oh my soul, right? I will put my hope in God. And so we have to be strong warriors. You have more power that you're not accessing. Like there's so much at your disposal as women of God, as daughters of the King. Like there's so many more benefits that we have that we're not accessing, that we're not using in our lives. And we're telling you today, we are telling you that there is power in gratitude. There is power in having a mindset, an attitude of gratitude in your lives. Sorry, I'm getting too excited here. Getting too excited here.
Do it.
So,
do it.
Freedom. All right, we should put that in the video here. All right, so let's go back to how has it affected your life? Let's get a little bit more specific. When it comes to this attitude of gratitude, how has it affected your life? So I know, Dr. Carmen, you mentioned that you're journaling, every day and writing but what have been some of the effects of it? What else have you seen?
It helps me to, and so when you do these things, you have to know yourself, right? You have to know, because some people have a higher likelihood of being, I don't want to say taken over, but of responding to things differently, right? Mm-hmm. Probably not the best way. I'm naturally very stoic. That is my natural response. Mm-hmm. I have a natural delay in responses. So it's rare that you're going to see me naturally. That's just not my natural response. I'm going to sit and, the building's probably on fire. And I'm going, okay, so it's burning.
Is it real?
Okay, maybe if we get some, okay, let me do something. Let me try this because
You're processing.
I'm a process.
Yes.
I want to do it. And then after it's over, and this never fails, like after it's over, the fire's out, everybody's safe, I'm going to, the place was on fire, right? Because that's right. But I think it's important to know that about yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then, what are the things that are healthy to respond for you? So for me, when I have situations like that where the building's on fire, because I will have to, I get it out in my healthy way, and then I say, and this is a phrase that I share with, and I doubt my little brother will watch it, but I use this phrase with my little brother. I say, unless you plan on dying tomorrow, it's going to get better. We live by that. I say, now, if your plan is to die tomorrow, then this might be it.
Somebody needs to type that in the comments right now.
Unless you don't plan on dying tomorrow, it's going to get better. And that's my phrase with him, because he's experienced a lot of trauma, a lot. And so, but it's our phrase together. Do you plan on dying tomorrow? No. Well, it's going to get better, right? So it helps us to change our perspective and how we approach things, because things happen in life. Mm-hmm. So I kind of take that approach, and then I could go back to, and this is another thing I do. I go child by child. It's so weird, but I go child by child to think of what's so good about them. Mm-hmm. And God, you entrusted me. That's literally my pattern. And then I get to Pastor Christopher. But I start with the children. I start with the children.
Children
and
first.
Then children. And then I have to retrain myself, because it's easy to go down the rabbit hole. And ladies, don't think by any means that we don't have natural responses, or things don't upset us, or there are times when we feel slighted, or somebody took advantage of you, and it's not fair, or that happens. But how I choose to respond is on me. Right. And so I always try to reposition myself to a position of gratefulness. Doesn't mean I ain't respond negatively a time or two and didn't have to repent and God has to check me. But I had to have something in place. And that's where I start. I always start with, what do I have? What have you given me? What tools do I have in my hand, right? What do I have? You gave me a sense of mind. You gave me a resource. You gave me people. You gave me access. So that's usually how I respond when I could respond a different way. So,
love that. That's great.
So
Good stuff.
You just kind of segued into a quote that I have actually, and I have this picture at home, and that I look at often. And I was like, I have to share this. I don't know how it's going to fit in there, but I got to share it. So you kind of segue into it. Thank you. But it says, do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. But remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for.
Yes.
Wow. So you kind of segue for me, provided that.
Can you repeat it again? Because someone missed that.
Yeah, it's long, but listen closely. It says, do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. But remember that once what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for.
Yes. I posted that a few weeks ago. It said, post something or share, like in the comments, something that you have that you prayed for. Like, what do you have that you remember you prayed for? And those are the kind of things when you check God's resume up against the things that you ask him for, it does something to you on the inside. When I think of, like, I remember, and I won't even turn this into testimony service, but I just like remember being pregnant with Christina, and doctors giving me, they're like, well, she's gonna need this and she's gonna need that, and my baby is 19. See, those things right there keep me on a gratitude wagon.
Right.
So if I don't have this or that, I know what God is able to do, and I know what he's capable of, and I know in due season he's gonna hand me or give me what I need, or whatever that looks like. May not be what I want, because that's a reality, but he's going to give me what I need, because unless I plan on dying tomorrow, everything's going to be all right. That's it. Unless that's the plan. Right.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So I'm going to throw a different question to you ladies than what I had previously sent you, but we're moms here, and I know earlier we kind of joking around about our children, but is there anything, because I know that there's moms listening right now, and so we get frustrated. If we're honest, right? We get frustrated because our kids still don't understand that. And so how is it that in your home you teach your children gratitude? What does that look like?
Lori, you can go first.
Well, I mean, honestly, my oldest, we didn't have much when she was little. So there were years we didn't have a Christmas tree for a long time. We couldn't afford a Christmas tree. So we would go to the Dollar Tree and we would pick out $5 worth of decorations, and that was our decoration. So and that was the time that I realized Christmas didn't have to be. I didn't have to be sad because we didn't have a tree full of gifts, because that's not what it was about anyway. So I had to do that shift, that mind shift, and so. For her, she's watched us carefully, whether it's budgeting or sorry we can't do that this week, or sorry there's no money left in the wallet, So she's kind of, I think, like my mom used to say, don't give them anything and they'll grow up grateful. because we didn't have much, so whenever we got something, it was like super exciting. So I think for her, that's been one thing, but just the other part for the younger one, I think for my husband and I, it's always been important just to show them how grateful we are for the life that we have. And so they hear the stories, and my husband loves to tell the stories. When I was your age. But at the end of that story, we're just grateful to have you, and so just. That transfers, that spirit of gratitude, it transfers to them. So
I like that. Transfer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, interestingly enough, we watched a movie yesterday on Netflix. I forced them. It was Holiday Rush, where like this family, they were very well off. Like the dad's this DJ. It was on Netflix if you want to watch it. Torture your kid. But then they like he lost his job. Like he just lost his job, and they went from like this really nice home to like going back to the home that the mom, because the dad was a widow, and and they had to go back to sharing one bathroom.
Humble beginnings.
And they had to, and like they were angry and all of that. But then then they had to start doing chores because there was no maid, and all of these things. And by the end, of course, it's TV. They realized, because it was around Christmas, that because dad didn't have money to give them, he had to take the money to invest to start a new business. And they were cheering for him, and he saw like that transfer of gratefulness. And I was sitting watching it with my kids to watch their reactions. But the responses they were making was, man, how you mad? That's a nice house too. Or I wouldn't be, you still got this, and this. So I was listening to those comments like, oh, so you do recognize that even if there was a change in status or something and you don't have what you have, that you could be grateful. So I think about, like you were saying, just the age differences. I think my oldest understands the humble beginnings, honey. You better be glad that you got shoes, right, So she's a little bit different from like the boys, and then this little one, I'm working on her. I'm a little older, but I think as you were talking, it's just being transparent with it.
Yes.
Like saying we don't have to. I'm good for saying that. Oh, I don't have to do anything.
Right.
Like you don't have to eat. That's my.
What is it like? You can go 3 days without eating, right?
Yeah, like you don't have to eat. And so just reminding them. I will say this though. They are at the thankfulness stage because every single time they eat dinner, they say, "Thank you, Mommy." But my husband models that. Like anytime, so they do that. I don't know if they're grateful, but they will at least say that. So there's a recognition that someone did something to make this happen.
Yes.
So I would say probably just keep being transparent with them and, holding them accountable. I'm working on that part. Yeah. But holding them accountable.
Yeah. And I would say, too, exposing them to that. So, we are blessed to be here at Crossover where we're consistently serving the community. So our kids have been consistently exposed to those that are in
giving
need,
back,
to those that are living, in a different way. And so, those are opportunities that you can take and say, hey,
it could be us.
Roll down the window, hand them a sandwich. That could be us. Right. This is why we're grateful for what we have.
Yeah. So I almost fell off my chair just a couple of weeks ago at the dinner table. You just reminded me of that because I got 2 compliments, back to back. And it was from my girls, and I really wasn't expecting that. But it's true what you guys say that, you model that, right? And you try to hold them accountable. I've done the whole thing, like, I don't gotta do nothing. And you don't have to eat either. Like, food in the pantry, get it yourself. But when you're talking about that level of thankfulness, because I had one child that actually said, "Thank you, Mommy," right? And then I was like, "Oh, what?" Right? Yeah. And then the other one said, "Oh, Mom, this is really good." Wait, hold on. Right. And so then it helped me realize too, like all these years, right, that sometimes we fight and we push with our kids or as moms, we just kind of feel defeated sometimes because we're trying so hard to teach them. And so we don't always see the fruit right away. Like it'll take years, right? And like you're saying, like now as they're getting older and just the fact that they said thank you, that is a huge step. Like that lets me know, okay, those seeds are there. Yes. Those seeds are there. Yes. And it's going to take time. Like my avocado tree is going to take time.
Right.
But it's there. And so moms that are out there, like don't give up on your kids. Don't give up. Model gratefulness. Make sure that you are modeling that for your kids on a daily basis. And when you were talking about transparency, teach them, what does transparency look like? Be honest with them, with their situation, right? We've talked to them too about our humble beginnings. Sometimes they think like we just arrived, right?
I know.
Right. Like we just got here, right? It's like, no, like we literally ate spaghetti for a whole week because we didn't have any other, nothing else. So it's like, you teach them that and just don't give up. Don't give up on your kids so that we can have an army of just people being grateful. This world would be a better place if we had just gratefulness and God's grace just flowing out of each and every one of us. So I think it's fitting. I really think it's fitting that we do a gratitude challenge. What do you think? Yeah. Right? I think we should have a gratitude challenge. And so this is what we want you ladies to do. And I'll post this on social media as well. But the gratitude challenge is for 7 days. And you are going to post a video. Yep. You're going to post a video. It has to be 1 minute or less. And you're going to talk about one thing that you're grateful for. One thing that you are grateful for. So make sure it's 1 minute or less every day for 7 days. That's it. It's pretty simple. So a video, and you're going to post it to any social media platform that you like. So it can be TikTok, if you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform you want to use. So you're going to create a video. You're going to talk about one thing that you're grateful for. Make sure that it's under 1 minute. Post it on any social media platform. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to tag a friend. So you can tag as many friends as you want, but tag at least one friend, and you have to tag Chosen813. Otherwise, we're not going to know. So tag a friend and then tag Chosen813. the winner, right? So if we have multiple ladies, and I believe that we're going to have some ladies that are going to be part of this challenge. At the end, I'll have a raffle, and your name will be put in the raffle. And what I have is a 2023 planner. It's very pretty. Because planning is so important, right? So we have a 2023 planner, and then I also have a $50 gift card. Now, I don't know about you, but Christmas is right around the corner, and I'm pretty sure that we can all use an extra $50, right? So we want to make sure that we put this, to the winner, whoever the winner is. You have until December 4th. All right, so you don't have to start right away, but you have until December 4th. So the challenge ends on December 4th. So make sure, ladies, that you participate in this. Tag a friend, get your friends involved in it as well. We are going to participate as well, right, and be a part of this. But before we go, any last closing words? Like, if there's one thing that you want the ladies to leave with today, what would you say that would be?
Gratefulness will save your life.
Okay.
And possibly those around you.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love it. So ladies, listen, make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you're following us at Chosen813 here on YouTube, also our social media platforms at Chosen813. Engage with us, talk with us, let us know what's happening in your lives. We want to be a part of that. Share this as a replay with your friends. And then let us know if you have any questions, let us know how we can help you. We are here for you. So thank you. And ladies, this Thanksgiving, make sure that you make some big waves of gratefulness. Thank you for tuning in to Chosen Voices, Women Making Waves. This show will be available on our YouTube channel, Crossover Chosen. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. You can also check out at Chosen813 on Facebook and Instagram. And to connect with me, your host, Lucy Kyllonen, check out my website, lucyk.me, or my social media platforms at LucyK813. We hope you enjoy the show. Now go make some waves.